Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Anton, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. So what do we have today? Well, Jack hasn't shown up. Jack's probably gonna show up tomorrow. But we have cards that are pretty much guaranteed to be Jack's followers, a bunch of fish people, and I believe in equipment too. Probably going to be a relatively short video in all honesty because I believe it's only 4 cards were revealed today. Granted, one of the cards creates more cards, so it's technically a little more than 4 cards. All of these cards are pretty good in my opinion. I think every single card they revealed today is actually pretty playable, which is good because these are kind of going to be the backbone of Jack decks most likely. So yeah, not much for an intro. Like I said, probably not going to be too long of a video because again, no Jack and honestly not even that many new cards. One of the cards though I really like and I'm actually a little scared of. So yeah, let's go and actually look at the cards and evaluate them. Okay, so as I said, 4 cards: Pocket Picker, Mad Old Babs, Barnacles. I'm gonna have a hard time saying that because I want to say it a different way than it's pronounced, but it's pretty much just a play on the word barnacle, and Knuckle. And also Mako and Bull, but those are not cards you can put in your deck, and we'll talk about those when we start talking about Knuckle. But first off, what do we have here? Pocket Picker. I like this card. 1 mana 2/1, last breath, create a coin in hand. I think this is a pretty solid card, like probably like above average, in fact. Especially with rotation coming up, we don't know the power level of the format, but a 1 mana 2/1 with some upside has always been solid. For example, Lunari Duskbringer. I hope that's the right Lunari I'm thinking of. The 1 mana 2/1 Lunari that creates like a Dusk Petal Dust. That card has seen play outside of Nightfall decks. Why? Because, well, the card it creates, a Dust Petal Dust, can be used as discard fodder to something like Spacey Sketcher. Maybe it did get eventually buffed so it affects Nightfall too, so Pale Cascade, but even before that buff, it was still played even with 0 Nightfall cards because just solid discard fodder. Sometimes you only have like an Aphelios or something. The Dusk Petal Dust was barely mattering in a lot of decks. You were usually just playing it because it was a 1 mana 2/1. It trades well, it hits relatively hard for a 1-drop, and while it's not completely vanilla, the Dust Petal Dust does give a little bit of value. I think Pocket Picker is in a very similar scenario. A coin is much better than a Dusk Petal Dust. Now, Bilgewater doesn't really do discard, but again, like I was saying, a coin is much higher value. You can actually use it. You can get the mana back. I'll say this, if you're not really stacking coins up, getting a single coin is not that great, but of course, because you want to go positive and gain mana when you cast your coin. But of course, you know, spell synergy matters and stuff like that. Not much big spell synergy stuff in Bilgewater, but hey, solid card. And also, like, what 1-drops do you like to play in Bilgewater? Honestly, not that many. Like, what? Crackshot Corsair? I guess there's Butcher? I think that's his name? Something Butcher? Like the 1 mana 2/2, who if you plunder, he gets +1/+1. That's probably like the best 1-drop in Bilgewater. And if you're not a dedicated plunder deck, I kind of like this card better. And who knows, you might play both of them in the same deck. But yeah, very solid 1-drop, just overall great for coin decks and even just non-coin decks. Just Bilgewater decks in general probably are okay with this card. Next, what do we have though? Mad Old Babs. I'm going to be honest with you, out of all the cards revealed today, I think this card's actually the worst, but I don't think it's a bad card. Mad Ol' Babs is a 2 mana 1/3. Okay, bad stats for her cost. But when you refill mana, grant me +1/+0 for each mana refilled. Now, I've seen some people misreading this card and thinking it only works with coins, But I don't think she'll only work with coins. She just says when you refill mana. When you start a turn, your mana gets refilled. So you play her on 2, and your mana gets refilled up to 3. She'll be a 2 mana, a 4/3, basically, on turn 3, if you play her on curve on 2. Is that good? Like, she's gonna have a lot of power, a lot of attack, whatever you want to call it, but here's the problem. So what? She doesn't have a keyword. We don't really have ways to squeeze in, like, sneak through big attackers in Bilgewater. Like, we don't have a Might or a Syncopation or Ghost or whatever. There honestly might be one, I can't remember it, but yeah, like no Atrocity, I don't even know, like Dragon's Rage, nothing like that in Bilgewater. So yeah, like while she's not the worst, I feel like Mirai Warden, I believe that's her name, Mirai Warden, the 2 mana 2/1 that summons a random 1-drop, it's just a better 2-drop for pretty much all decks. Like, that card is just so good though. Arguably one of the best 2-drops in all of LOR though, so hard to compete with that. But yeah, I think she looks okay as a card, but yeah, probably the least playable card in my opinion out of all of these cards today. Next up, Barnacles. Is it supposed to be Bark Knuckles? I know it's supposed to be like, it's probably a play on the word, you know, barnacle. So I'm assuming like the K is silent, so it's still Barnacles. What is this card though? 2 mana equipment, +1/+1. Okay, not bad, not bad. What's it actually do though? Well, first off, gives Brash, and when you strike, when the unit that's equipped strikes, you get to create a coin in hand. So it's another coin producer. I like this card. I think this card is really, really good. I'll be honest with you, I am kind of tempering my expectation with this card, but I'll be honest with you, I think this card might be a little nuts. Put this on a quick attack unit or something that wants to be striking, specifically the Nexus, like a Samira or something, or just wants to be striking a lot and be hard to block. Because, you know, Brash. Yeah, I think this is good. The coins are really nice too to help level up things like Set, Samira herself, of course. So yeah, I like the card. Cards I would compare it to from equipment we already have in the game. Swinging Glaive is there. I think Swinging Glaive overall is just better than this card. Kind of reminds me of Darken Aegis, the one that brings out Geralt. They actually had to nerf Darken Aegis. It only gives +1 now, I believe, in Tough. Granted, Tough was a really, really good keyword, or is a really good keyword. And the fact that Darken weapons can, you know, turn into Darken later on in the game is one of their big strengths. Still though, I think this card is really, really good and very good in a lot of Bilgewater decks. Very cheap too, so, you know, cheap equipment means you can play it often and early. Also, not to mention, good Bilgewater equipment helps to activate equipment synergies, so momentous choice. Oh boy. And our next card, our last card, we got Knuckle. Like I said, not many cards, so not much to talk about. Our final card for the day. First few cards, fairly simple cards, so kind of sped through them. We're gonna have to talk a bit about Knuckle here, though. Not much text here with Knuckle and friends. Knuckle is a 2 mana 2/1 elusive. That alone kind of sucks. Like, yes, elusive's annoying. Helps you plunder a lot too because elusive's hard to block. Sure, dies to a ping, but with rotation coming up, gonna be less pings in the format. But what's it do? When Knuckle is summoned, create a fleeting Mako in hand. What is Mako? 4 mana 4/4 with Overwhelm. Okay, that's pretty solid in my opinion. We will play 4 mana 4/4s in all honesty. You might say like, okay, what deck will play a 4 mana 4/4? I can't remember the name of the card. It's the card that's the Evolve card. I'm gonna actually look this up now in all honesty because it's gonna bother me that I can't remember the name of it. I believe Void Blaster. That's it. Void Blaster, the 4-mana 4/4 Overwhelm and Evolve. This is basically a Void Blaster without Evolve, which I'm going to be honest with you, Void Blaster doesn't really see play outside of Kaisa decks anyway. So I would not just play Mako by herself. But the fact is, you only can play her by playing Knuckle, and I feel like the reason why Knuckle is just a lot of value. Like, you play Knuckle, you get Mako. Knuckle is just a solid 2-drop, you get Mako, and that's like basically 2 cards for 1 card from your deck. And on top of that, when you summon Mako, you get to create a fleeting Bull in hand. And now Bull is where this card gets scary, where Knuckle gets scary. Bull is a 6-mana 6/6 with Brash that says, when I'm summoned, rally. That's scary. Now, you might have done some quick math here and be like, wait a minute. 6 mana plus 4 mana plus 2 mana is 12 mana. You can only go up to 10 mana. So we're going to have to find a way to get 2 mana, in other words, coins. Coins are the easiest way, I assume. Probably the intended way for this. So, you know, Bar Knuckles, the Pocket Pickers. But yeah, even just Knuckle. Like, let's say you're in a top deck war against your opponent and you have like a coin, and the coin is like, what? I don't know, just 2 or even 3 or whatever, just 2 or more. And you top deck Knuckle, you play Knuckle, you play Mako, you play your coin, you play your Bull. And then now you've got a board of a 2/1 elusive, a 4/4 overwhelm, a 6/6 brash, and you rallied. And that's why I think Knuckle is good. Knuckle is both great in the late game in that kind of scenario I just described, solid in the early game where if you just need units, where you just need to get on the board to block stuff, maybe you want something hard to block to get some plunder triggers. And it's also great in the mid game where if you just want to get a little bit of value and get a couple of units for 1 card, where you just play Knuckle into Mako. And of course, you could also, you don't have to technically play all the cards at once. You could just play like Knuckle and then Mako and play like pick a card to put Bull into your deck or some kind of effect like that. Or Stress Testing, I think is the name of the card. The card in PNZ that removes fleeting is another way to do it. So there are ways to get around fleeting, of course. But yeah, I like these cards. Big fan of all of them. Looks like a very good foundation for what Jack is trying to do. Seems very, very aggressive. Not necessarily aggro, but very aggressive mid-range, if that makes sense for what Jack is trying to do, at least from what his followers are showing off here. Got a nice coin creator, solid equipment, and a nice flexible 2-drop here in the form of Knuckle. How do these cards go in other decks that are not going to be Jack? Other, like, just Bilgewater decks? Honestly, Bilgewater decks are kind of meh at the moment. So, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think these go in Pirate Burn or Plunder. Like, I don't know. I can't think of anything, but yeah. But yeah, I love the cards. I really like Knuckle. I love the versatility Knuckle gets. Bar Knuckles just seems cool. Like Pocket Picker, solid 1-drop. And while I think Maddled Babs is not that great, I don't think she's terrible. It's just that we live in a world of Mirai Warden being like a premier 2-drop. Anyway, though, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your opinion on these cards. Do you disagree with me? Do you think these cards are kind of mediocre? Do you think I'm overrating like Knuckle and Pocket Picker? I know some people think I'm overrating Bar Knuckles. I'd love to hear your opinion on that card as well. And if you guys just enjoyed the video in general, I would love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. Always helps me and always helps out the channel. And if you guys want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zeneton, where I stream pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!